everybody, this is Vance of Fishing With Vance.com. We're back for day number 2 of Pelican Mods. I'm coming over here, checking out my partner. He's going to work on, what are we working on today, partner?
So we got a few mods that we're going to be putting on the boat today that hopefully no one has ever seen anywhere before, which I'm pretty sure that they haven't. So as we discussed in our other videos, we got to create the housing for the USB ports that's going to go underneath the boat. And then we have to be able to create the housing or the home then for the Samsung flat fast charger. So that's what we're working on right now. But of course, I don't want to go and just get all willy-nilly on the table over there and just start screwing and drilling and all that kind of stuff. So we got to run some tests to make sure that what I'm doing, number one, makes sense, measurements are correct, it's going to work, and that we're going to be able to do whatever we're going to have here for the preliminary is then going to be able to work on the table. Because obviously I don't want to be putting this through that table if it's not going to work. So that's what we got going on right now. Stay tuned. Make sure that you hit like, subscribe. We really want you guys to hit that like button. And we got some really good things coming here for the Pelican Bass Raider Modifications. We appreciate everybody watching. Welcome back. So we are in the preliminary testing of our Samsung fast charging disc / flat, I don't know, whatever you want to call that device. Vance sort of gave me the challenge that he wanted one of these in the table some time ago, probably about 6 months ago. He said, hey, you know what would be an ultimate mod is that if I can not only charge my phone, but I can do it wirelessly. All I want to do is just be able to set it right on the table and charge it. I'm like, you're out of your mind. There's no way we're going to be able to do that. We're fishing out of a Pelican boat with a wooden table. I don't work for NASA. So I thought about it for a while, bounced some ideas off everybody, and as you guys have already seen, we've been working on this. So basically what we have going on, as you can see, that bad boy is sitting in there right now. We're about ready to run the preliminary test here. So, give you the quick overview. Hole, charger, plexiglass on the bottom, plexiglass on top, secured down. I'm going to just press that. This is, in fact, plugged in, as you can see, and we are ready for the first official test. The light did come on. It looks like it's hot. Here we go. Put that sumbitch on there, and let's see what we got. Bam. Wireless charging engaged. That's right. Currently at 25%. It's charging right now.
Take it on and off again. Let me get in.
Take it off. Put it back on. Charging. There you go. Charging wirelessly. So, it does appear to work. We might have to look at a couple things here. I don't know just how much that the plexiglass is going to affect the connection of that.
Try it this way, Catter, with it turned this way. The charger normally works better when you have more surface area of the phone on there, like that.
So maybe diagonal will be the best. Let's test it like this.
You just have to get it in the middle of the charger.
There we go. Right there. So it is going to work. I don't know as far as the rate, the capacity. We'll have to take a look at that here. We'll continue to see how that's going to work. But number one, successful test. It does in fact work. Number two, not really sure if it's perfect yet or not, but we're going to figure that out. Plexiglass on the bottom, plexiglass on the top. Now the challenge is going to be, as we continue this modification, obviously it's going to be on the table, which is going to be out in the elements. That means sunshine, rain, whatever else. So now we got to make sure that this thing is going to be waterproof. And that's the next thing that you guys are going to see. Stay tuned. Grab a beverage, popcorn, whatever you guys want. This is what we do here at fishingwithvance.com.
And action. Multiple TVs.
Multiple TVs.
Oh. And action. Multiple TVs. Hit it.
Eat it. All right, guys.
Start again.
Back.
Sorry, I was moving this around. My bad. Okay, and go.
All right, guys. Welcome back. So just want to give you a little bit of insight on what we're doing. Getting away from the table mods that we're also doing today, waiting for my partner to get back. He had to run a little errand. So I thought instead of just sitting around and drinking even more beer, that I would actually work on one of our other mods, which is going to be for the motors and the battery system. So one of the things that we were thinking about is that that floor is really awesome in the Pelican. We love it. It gives a lot of great stability, and that floor is never coming out. But what we have to do then, either at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, is that we got to bring the floor up, we got to take all the cabling out, we got to put the floor back down, then we got to haul the motors out, blah, blah, blah. It just makes for a lot of unnecessary work. So one of the things we're going to try and do is actually create this wire or cabling system that will go down through the middle channel of the boat, which we'll show you. This is going to stay in place. And then what this is going to do is that one end will hook right onto the motors. These ends then, that obviously already have the terminals on for the battery, this will stay in the boat, and then this will just hook right onto the battery. But the question was, is that how do we make sure then that we can connect the positive and the negative end to then the respective ends for the motor, and how are we going to do that? How is it going to be easy and functional so that we don't have to mess around? It can be basically a quick connect or a quick disconnect. So, looking some things up and having a little bit of electrical knowledge, found these guys here. These are what's known as Anderson connectors. So this is pretty basic. What this is going to do is give you a positive and a negative, and then same on the other side. These gray ones are only meant to go into the gray. And as you can see here, positive, negative, positive, negative. Hopefully you guys can see those and how those are shaped. These guys are going to connect in just like that. So your wire is going to go into here. I'm going to show you how to do this in a second. Your free wire will go into here, and then these will connect right here, and then obviously give you a disconnect. So the basic premise behind this is that we'll have the motor, the wires from the motor, they're going to come into here, positive, negative, respectively. Wires from the battery will come down the boat, they'll come into here, positive, negative again, and then these guys will just be connect. And what we'll do, the one that comes from the battery end, that's obviously that whole lead is going to stay in the boat. This is going to get attached to the boat. This will then stay with the motor. This then is going to get connected whenever we hop in the boat. We get out of the boat, this goes with the motor, this stays, off we go. Easy peasy. So that's the premise behind it. I have no idea if it's going to work or not. These seem a little shady in their connection. I'm hoping that as we get the wire in there, and there's a metal clip that's going to press on that clip, that's going to make that connection a little bit better. My other hope is that it's going to be a vertical connection in the boat, so hopefully that should stay and not be any issue. But this is not going to go into here. No go. So we got to cut this end off. Get yourself a pair of snips. These are some channel lock snips, fiercely made, Meadville, Pennsylvania. And then these are going to be your terminals. These terminals right here, if you can see those guys, those are made to go into this Anderson connection. So what you got to do, line that up with roughly where you're going to want to cut your wire, and you're just going to strip this. So again, you get your snips. We're going to work this guy around here a little bit, and all I want to do is just take the sheath of this wire off, or just take that rubber coating off.
Did you say sheath?
Sheath. You can take that off, and then what you can do is that you can do a quick eye up. So obviously, as you see, I got a little bit too much copper, so I'm going to have to give this copper a haircut right here. I'm going to use my side cutters again. And we're just going to trim this off a little bit so that it will fit into there. Sometimes you got to do this a few times, and that's okay. Try this again. Oh, it's close. Just a little bit too long for me. So we're just going to give it another little trim. There we go. That's going to go in there. Now, job's not done. Now you need to have your set of crimpies. So as you can see, that's what these guys are made for. They still have a cutting edge up here, but then as you can see, the crimps right here. So we're going to put our metal right in where that crimper is. And we're going to get it down towards the base, down towards the end of the wire there, if you can see that.
Stripping it back down to the base.
And then we're just going to crimp. Ooh, daddy. Crimp that. That's what that's going to look like. That's not coming off there.
That's nicely done.
So, you're going to have your terminal end that's going to the battery. This is going to go to your Anderson connector as such. Now, of course, just like a cooking show, I already happen to have a few of these done. So, what we have with this guy, this one's already done. So you got your Anderson lead, you got your positive and your negative, red and black. This here, your two battery terminal ends. This one's going to be ready to go. Motor end then will go in here. Here's our other one then, awaiting our red guy. So this is just going to slide up into here. You got to look to make sure how you're going to put this in here, and I usually screw this up. Hear that click? Hopefully you did. That's in there now. Then basically, just to show you how this is going to go in a nutshell, fumble, this will go like this. Oops, sorry, do it right. That's how that's going to connect together. And there's your connection. Alright guys, welcome back. So, little update here. We are getting ready to drill the hole on the main table for the Samsung charger. So, you've already seen we ran a couple of the tests. Wanted to make sure everything was going to work. And now it's time for the real deal Holyfield. So here we go. I'm a little scared, not going to lie to you. Don't want to muck up the table, especially with the Lazy Miller, because it was a little bit of a pain getting that on there, but we got it. So we're going to do this. We're going to pound it out. We'll come back to you with an update of what it looks like after that. Hopefully once we get this done, we'll get a little bit of the work underneath. Vance is going to start slapping some Flex Seal on here and get this thing ready to go. And then we'll come back and put all the hardware on it after he's done. And we'll be all set. So, stay tuned. More to come. Fishing with Vance.
Okay.
Alright everybody, welcome back. So, I want to give you yet another update with where we are at with our Pelican Bass Raider King Tut. There's the quotes for you. 2018 modifications for what we have going on for our boat here. So, real quick, let's take you over here. We're going to show you the table that we've been working on that hopefully you guys have already seen. So Vance just got done giving this guy a real good old fresh coat of Flex Seal. This stuff is unbelievable. Worth every penny. It's a little bit thick to paint and it stinks to the high heaven, so you need to make sure that you have a well ventilated area. But it's definitely going to make sure that any kind of rain, moisture, etc., is not going to harm any kind of wood product. So really good. We definitely love this stuff. This is on our order table, and we want to make sure that we use it for this table then again. So as you can see, we got the Lazy Miller, we got the hole, everything like that is all coated up. Vance did a great job on that. So we got the secondary project then from this was the whole electric / power system. So we had to make sure that for our charger that we were going to have right here, we had to have power for it. So underneath the table here, which hopefully Vance will be able to show you, we have our double USB port, which we mounted underneath there with just a simple 2x2. Put that bracket in there, screwed that down. Vance then coated that on top with the Flex Seal. These are just the wires that came with it. We're going to change these guys out to some longer wires that will be able to reach a battery then underneath. What that's going to give us then is a direct USB to the Samsung flat charger, and then the separate USB, which then you can do whatever you want to with it. That's going to be really, really cool. This is underneath the table. It's going to be waterproof. I mean, it would have to be an actual hurricane in order for that to get any kind of water to it. We'll show you how this is all going to work on a separate video as far as the finalization of the table and everything that we're going to do with that. That's going to be really cool. That's going to make the King Tut right there. So Vance had been asking for that, and we're going to make it happen. And really, really excited for that. So you got the Lazy Miller. You got the flat charger. You're going to have the 4 pole holders on this side, 4 on that side. You're going to have measuring tapes, magnetic strips, blah, 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 blah. This thing is going to be loaded to the gill for a 2-man Pelican ride. But that wasn't enough. So what we said earlier, whenever I was talking about, hey, what are we going to do with the motors and the electric and the battery, and how are we going to make that easier? Because we do have that floor that's in the mat, which is basically cow stall mat. It's heavy, makes the Pelican tremendously more stable whenever you are in it. And I know Vance is not going to go in the Pelican without the floor. I know that for a fact. So one of the things that we ran into, you got to take the floor, you got to take it out, and blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to have the lines underneath it in order to be able to hook up to the battery in order to be able to run the motors. That's a pain. It's a big pain in the ass. So we were trying to figure out how can we do that and make that whole entire operation as simple as possible, getting into the water and then also getting out of the water. So did a little research, looked online, blah, blah, blah. This is what we came up with. So as I showed you earlier, what we were trying to do was be able to hook a couple lines into these Anderson connectors right here. So basically you got your positive and negative, and then you have your lines that are going into the actual motor itself, and then you have these Anderson connectors. So what these are going to provide to you is a connection system, so that then now, as you can see, I don't have to remove these lines that are going to go in the bottom of the boat, thus underneath the flooring that we're going to put in the boat. So on one side, obviously we have the flooring. That's that cow mat, stall mat, whatever you want to call it. Underneath that, we've already run it. It's already all taped down, everything like that. Looks great, works great, etc. This side we wanted to be able to show you so that you can see exactly what we did and how we did it and how this is going to work. So basically what we got, this is 6 gauge wire, and we have our Anderson connector. This you can unplug like that. This is going to sit here. Go ahead and remove this motor, transport the boat, whatever you have going on, store the boat, etc. Now I go ahead and put the motor back on. I got this, looky there, snap, there we go, game over. I don't have to run this line all the way down through the channel of the boat. I don't have to mess with the floor. I don't have to hook up the battery, whether it's on this end, if you have your battery on that end. It's all done right here. Quick connect. More importantly, quick disconnect then whenever you go to leave. Pop that out, motor comes out, off you go. Leave this right in there. You can either take the floor and take it out, or you can leave the floor in there. I like to leave the floor in there whenever I'm transporting the boat. Vance doesn't like to do that. He likes to take that floor out of there. Thus, you're going to be all set, because that cording and those cables are all going to be down there, and they're all going to be secure. So we sort of struggled a little bit with this as far as how are we going to put that down there. I was trying to think about maybe running a tape or some flex tape down through there. Vance actually come up with this idea right here. So what this is actually heavy duty Gorilla tape. So this is basically like duct tape but on steroids. Heavy gauge, really thick. Obviously then we took that and then we cut it in half, so then we can run it right down through the channel here. And that's what we did right there. Now if that happens to come up through there or get removed or something like that, that means that we were probably in some 6-8 foot swells, and then we shouldn't have been out in that anyway. So I think that that's going to work really well for us. It's going to be very simple. We're going to be able to connect the motor. We're then going to be able to come down here. You're going to have your ends right here. Obviously you can see we have our battery terminals on there. The battery's going to sit right in the middle. These will then be able to hook on, screw them down with a wing nut, and then off we go. So we tested both sides. Everything worked great. This I'm really excited about because it's going to be very simple, easy in and out. No need to mess with any of this stuff. The cabling down and through the bottom. It's going to be great. So very excited. Yet another Miller mod coming to life.